We're back with you down here at 306 Barbecue in downtown Florence. Benjamin Ray and Mike Ezekiel on hand. We'll welcome in next the head football coach at the University of North Alabama, Brent Dearman. Coach, it's great to be chatting with you here at 306 Barbecue, and it's even better to be coming off of the win last week. The good social media video of the post-game celebration in the locker room. This team has battled all year. It had to feel pretty sweet to celebrate that with everybody.
It absolutely does. You know, after you get a win, things are a lot better. Church on Sunday morning's better. Going to practice on Monday, watching film, meetings with players, lift on Monday morning. Everything's better after a win. Now, what you can't do is you still got to correct the mistakes. There's still mistakes on the tape. You can't, after a win, overlook those things because you kind of elevate things in a loss. And sometimes in a win, you can just try to go ahead and move forward because you enjoy it so much. So enjoy it for 24 hours, move on, correct it, and you got to do the same things, if not more, this week to get another win.
Yeah, it's got to feel good to come into that week with a win instead of the other way around. And Coach, just exciting all around. And one thing that you talked about in that win, your pride was a little hurt with the having to adjust a little bit. You know, a team that thrives on tempo. You possessed the ball very well and kind of adjusted your style a little bit. How did that feel?
It felt great. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. You know, I told the guys a couple years back, I used to look at stats and I used to try to see what we can do offensively to score this many points, have this many drives, run this fast tempo. And we actually used it as a lesson yesterday to our players. We got some players that want to do more. They want to have a bigger role. They want to do this, do that. And I said, guys, listen, to me, I don't care how we win. I just want to win. That's and right. if it takes possessing the ball, if it takes 12, 13, 14 play drives of eating up time of possession to help our defense stay fresh. If we win 25 to 13, if we win 3-2, if we win 80 to 79, I just want to win. That's the only stat I care about now.
And it was impressive, Coach, for this defense. 3 3-and-outs in the first quarter. They ran 9 total plays in the first quarter. Second quarter, they did get going a little bit offensively, West Georgia did. But the third quarter, perhaps one of the most impressive quarters of defense we've seen at UNA in some time. They ran 6 total offensive plays while having 5 total yards to start the second half, Coach. How dominant was this defense last week?
I may have to go back and double-check you. I think they ran 4 plays in the third quarter. I think we got a 3-and-out, and I think the next drive started.
That's probably what it is. I'm looking at the drive sheet.
The next drive started and got 1 play, and then we flipped the field to go to the fourth quarter. So I think it's a credit to both sides of the ball. I mean, the offense, you look at the third quarter drives, I think we had a 12-play drive and a 14-play drive. So the drive in between, defense does a good job of getting the 3-and-out. And you're talking about winning. We stress winning the middle 8 to our players. That's something I don't think that we even thought about in this game as well, of scoring a touchdown at the end of the half with 4 seconds left to go in the game, driving the length of the field in our 2-minute possession with TJ playing great there, putting the ball in the end zone, and then coming out in the second half. We missed the field goal coming out of the second half, but you had a 12-play drive that ate up time. Defense 3-and-out, 14-play drive that we get points out of the next drive. So I think we're keeping our defense fresh, and when they're fresh, they're really good on that side of the ball. So I think it was a collective effort for sure.
Yeah, and another big part of that, Coach, 0 turnovers. I mean, that obviously is a key factor, not just in the time of possession, but continuing those drives, keeping those drives alive. And another stat, if you combine third and fourth down conversions, 11 for 22.
Yeah, we had a big day, you know, and what I told our guys is we were really I think we ended up being, 10 of 21 maybe on third down.
That's right.
But the last 2 drives of the game was 2 of our only 3-and-outs we had all day, and we were trying to go 4-minute mode, and they knew it, and we were trying to run the ball. So you don't get those 2 third down possessions there. You take those 2 away, you're really 10 of 19, which is really, really good on third down. Between TJ using his legs with us driving the ball down the field, had a lot of guys that stepped up in those conversion situations. You look at, I don't know how many people really even noticed what truly happened, but schematically on special teams, we schemed up where we sent our second offense out on the field with our punter. And what happens is the other team's defensive coaches in the box, they just look to find the punter in the huddle. So Adam Watford goes out and plays receiver. So they send their punt return unit out, which is filled with 180-pound human beings. And now our offensive line gets to drive block a bunch of defensive backs, and that's what gave us the conversion there on that fourth down situation. So I figured a lot of people didn't truly understand what really went into that fourth down conversion.
Genius.
Speaking of the offensive line, Coach, they usually don't get talked about unless you have a big-time rushing day or if something bad happens, right? But this group faced a lot of adversity. 3 starters went down, 2 on consecutive plays. You played 10 total offensive linemen, and you still churned out 170 yards rushing. Just talk about the perseverance of the big boys up front in the trenches.
I tell you, and you had 4 sacks that were big losses in the game. I think our gain was over 220 yards. So to be down to your 7th, 8th, 9th, even down to the 10th offensive lineman in a game, and to run the football for over 200 yards is a pretty impressive feat, to be honest with you. And a lot of times I stressed to the guys yesterday, we're down to 3 of our second-string offensive linemen in the red zone drive. And I said, guys, we didn't take a timeout. We didn't try to hurry up and get those other guys back. We trusted in you guys to go down there and continue that drive and make plays. And it's going to help us development-wise for the future. You're looking at one that's a redshirt freshman. You're looking at another one that's a sophomore that came into those games in those situations. So really exciting time ahead for us in the O-line room.
Coach, let's talk about the 2 big plays from that game, those touchdowns. Obviously, the safety a big play too, but the 4 seconds to go in the half, as you alluded to, Takari Kennebrew coming down with an impressive catch, getting his foot down, and we thought, wow, that was a big play. And then Dakota Warfield kind of goes to the third quarter and decides he's going to go on Sports Center and all the things, and has that one-handed catch. Talk about how big both of those catches were.
To go down, and we've already talked about the whole drive, but to drive the length of the field in the 2-minute situation, TJ, as you guys will talk to in a little bit, using his arm and his legs. I think he had multiple times in that drive that he extended plays, didn't take a sack, and ended up getting a few yards, or throwing the ball away. And with 7-8 seconds left to go in the game, we said we're going to take a shot at the end zone, and if we don't get it, we'll kick the field goal. Either way, we're going to get points. And West Georgia played a cover 2 look down there low. TJ was able to recognize the corner, come down on the Kobe into the flat, so he hits TK in the back of the end zone. Great catch, great body control to get his feet down. So that's a big-time play. And then come out that third quarter and have Dakota Warfield in a man coverage look go over and make a heck of a catch. And that's something that kid does every day. He actually gives me a headache most days because he tries to do it too much some days in practice. But he's very talented. He attacks the ball. He finds a way to trap it. And does a really good job. So 2 big-time plays for us and great exposure for us nationally to be on SportsCenter.
Dakota's been on a tear of late, Coach. All right, we turn the page. Another United Athletic Conference game, Utah Tech, coming up this weekend. But before we get to that, it's also the reunion weekend for the 1994 National Championship team. A lot of those guys will be back. Coach Wallace is going to be back as well this Saturday at Brawley Stadium. So it's an exciting time to come out for that. But again, Coach, you've done a lot to embrace the tradition. You've done the 44 number with Jaheim Ingram wearing Ronald McKinnon's old number. It's got to be special for this program as well to welcome these guys back.
It's the original Purple Swarm coming back in town. I was actually looking yesterday, and guys like Jackson Bratton, Kobe Warden, the stars are starting to accumulate on their helmets. And for them guys to be coming back in town, and us to be about halfway through the year and to see guys as white stars on that purple helmet, it just reminded me of the greatness that those guys built here. We understand that they laid the foundation for this place. We understand that they set the standard for this place, and we're trying every day to get that standard back to where they built it. Great guys, too. I've been able to connect with so many of those from that team that are for us, that do everything they can to cheer us on. So we're really excited to be able to welcome them back into town and get to play in that we're going all purple this weekend in honor of that group.
Yeah, and to see that story on the website go out yesterday about the 94 team, to see Cody Gross leading that huddle with the stars all over everybody at that point, because that was in the national championship game. So, Coach, I want to ask you this question, because you did bring back the star tradition on the helmets. What does it take in your mind to get a star on a helmet? What do you look for when that happens?
So we've got a couple criteria. If you grade out at 90% or higher, which is very tough to do in football, if you grade out at 90% or higher, you get a star. Offense and defense, we've got 10 goals that we're trying to meet every week. And if everybody on the offense meets one of those 10 goals, you get it. Defense, same way. How many ever goals you meet, you can get stars. I think defensively we met 3 of our goals this past week. Offense, we met 4 of goals, and offense, we met 3 of our goals. And then anytime you get a win, everybody gets a star for a win for sure. And then big, huge plays in the game. Like Dakota Warfield had a huge play in that ball game with that catch. He gets a star for that. So there's multiple ways that you can go about earning those stars.
Coach, Utah Tech, we had a great battle with them last year. Greg Reddick had the deflection on a 2-point conversion where they tried to go for the win at the end of the ball game. Take us to this Utah Tech team. What have you seen on game film? What do you expect in round 2 this year?
You know, a team that came in here and the last second of the football game, they're going for a 2-point conversion to beat us last year. So they're a good team. They had 4 guys last year on the team that 2 of them are starting receivers at Texas Tech. One is the starting quarterback at Idaho, and one's playing defensive end at Washington State. And they've done a good job of bringing new guys in to replace those guys. They're very similar to us. What I told our players yesterday is the same situation we were in last week. They're in this week. They've played really good teams. I think everybody that they've played up to this point has been ranked. UNLV is their Division I game, their money game. They're ranked in the top 25. The teams that they've played in the FCS level are all ranked in the top 25. So they haven't been just losing to nobodies now. So they're a really good football team. We can't overlook them at all. We know that they're going to come in scratching and clawing. Their backs are against the wall in the conference, being 0-1 in conference play, same as we were last week. So we've got to put our hard hats on and go to work this week. Their head coach actually was the DC at Stanford, Ari Patu's early part of his career there, so he knows the head coach well. Defensive guy, he does a really good job of managing the game. Their offense is going to try to come in and be heavy personnel. They've got a scrappy quarterback, so really good football team coming in here.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that point, Coach, Montana State was their opener. They're now ranked number 3. UNLV's now cracked the top 25, and kind of rare. You never see teams tie in the top 25 polls, but they're tied for 25th. Northern Arizona, a team that wasn't ranked at the time, they're now 25 in FCS. UC Davis 2 weeks ago, they're now number 8 and number 9 in those polls. And Abilene Christian last week, they're ranked 16, 17. We know those are good. So, again, you talked about it a little bit, but how do you prepare as a coach knowing that it's a team that's hungry and just looking at what they did last week? I mean, I think 1,100 yards combined in that game.
Yeah, you got to look at the schedule. I mean, you can't just look at the record. You can't just watch cut-ups. You got to look at the overall picture. And in the overall picture, they're playing really good football teams. A really good team last week with Abilene Christian. That some have them all the way up to number 16, like you talked about. They're battling. I think they lose high 40s, low 50s to in the 30s range. So their offense is putting up points. They're finding a rhythm. They're finding a groove. And then, like I said, their backs are against the wall. They're 0-5. They're 0-1 in conference play. They know that they have to win this football game. So you've got a hungry football team that is talented coming in here. So we can't take them lightly. We can't have an off day. We got to make sure that we overdo it this week, study extra film, and know that they're coming in here to try to get a win.
Should be a great one again in Brawley Stadium. We need to remind everybody it's a 4 o'clock kick this week, away from the traditional 6 o'clock kick. We hope to see you out at Brawley Stadium. Coach, before we let you go, set up our next interview. TJ Smith's going to join us next. You've coached him for several years now before you came to UNA. What is it that makes TJ so special?
You know, TJ came to us when I was at FAU, was able to kind of recruit him in as a transfer there. Was quite possibly our second best quarterback at FAU. Really pushed our starter that was there in Nicosy Perry. I've seen TJ grow over the last 2 years where TJ for so long in his life, and I'm sure he'll tell you this too, TJ's a big play guy. and he likes the big play. He likes making the big play because he has so much belief in himself and the guys around him, where sometimes that's his negative. Sometimes he wants to make a play so bad that he will take a 15-yard sack, or he'll force a ball into a place that it shouldn't go. And I've seen so much growth in TJ this past year where, like you said, he's taking care of the ball. We're competing and we're winning a game now because we're taking care of the football, and he's developed belief in the guys around him, believe in him. And they know that he's going to give us the best chance to win the football game right now. So I'm really proud of the growth that he's taken on as a player and as a person as well.
Coach, we appreciate that. We'll talk to TJ next. Coach, best of luck this Saturday, and we'll do this again next week.
Thank you. Roll Lions.